Bienvenidos and welcome back to Puro Pinche Gol, the place we discuss all things USMNT y la selección mexicana. My name is Adrian, joining me once again my co-host Tocayo, Adrian. Adrian, man, how's the cruise going, bro?
Hey, how's it going, dude? Over here in the middle of the ocean, or I guess Gulf of Mexico, I should say. Um, kind of a late night, and yeah, just I want to say disappointed, but I'm not, dude. I'm not.
Yeah, Adrian's referencing obviously the Nations League final here between USA and Mexico. 2-0 again. What's become a meme, what's become a classic score between the rivalry. It had ended 2-0 here in the Nations League final 2024. A match that, Adrian, I think, until the Tyler Adams goal was pretty, close. I think there was chances for both teams in the first half. Stops for Memo Ochoa at that 5 minute against Pulisic. A couple opportunities for Mexico, and then a golazo for Tyler Adams to kind of depress Mexico before the halftime and kind of motivate the USA to start off strong in the second half.
Yeah, man. I think up to that point, as you mentioned, it was a very close match. It was pretty well balanced, if you ask me. I mean, it was very tough in the middle. Both of them had some sort of approaches to both of its goals. I would do want to say that the USMNT looked way more dangerous than Mexico, for sure. And that I think that was the only key that could have unlocked Mexico tonight. It was only a masterpiece or a long shot or like a marvelous team play from the USMNT, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, the two goals were, the first goal was a golazo from outside the box. You could argue that Memo Ochoa, his reactions at 38 years old, maybe aren't there anymore. And a younger Memo Ochoa, a younger keeper, would have saved that, the first goal. And you could argue the same thing for the second goal. It wasn't shot with a lot of power. There may have been some feet in the way of his, eyesight. But still, I mean, you'd think maybe a younger keeper, maybe Malagon could save those or do better those. Memo's reactions to those balls that, are sent straight to him are great. We saw that in the 5th minute against Pulisic. We saw that again in the second half. There was an opportunity for, I think it was a balogun or Weah. And he, when they're shot right at him, he can react perfect. But when it comes time to maybe move a little or, dive for it or, it's not straight at him, that's when we see Memo Ochoa's age and, really come out and him suffer.
Hey, I just want to say, Memo Ochoa, feliz gol 1002. Happy 1002 goal, man. Because honestly, dude, you're right. He looked sharp and he looked in great shape on the very first few challenges that he had to deflect. But on both of them, I think he could have done a better job. I don't think there's no way to put it.
Yeah. Let's talk real quick before pre-match. There were some changes to Mexico's lineup. Julian Quiñones was out. He was not 100% to go for this match. So in his place was Irving Lozano. And he opted to go, Jimmy Lozano, that is, opted to go with Jorge Sanchez in the back, along with his other, pretty 33 that he has back there, Cesar Monte, Johan Vasquez, and Gallardo. Other than that, it was pretty, with Eric Sanchez in the midfield as well. Pretty straightforward. And for the USA, he ended up switching Balogun out for Haji Wright, rewarding him for the 2 goals against Jamaica in the semifinal. And he also removed Musa and put Gioreyna in the midfield. Can you admit now, or does everybody admit now that Triple G is the GOAT? I mean, Gioreyna scored. He put him in. Tyler Adams, everybody was questioning before the match. Tyler Adams, why is he starting? He's not ready to go, and he scores. He's rewarded. He's brought off at the halftime, but before that, he scored. So Triple G got his subs right and got his lineup right. I mean, credit to him, I guess.
Triple G knows best, bro. I mean, he had all the strategy laid out. He knew that Hill Adams was gonna be the guy who unlocked Mexico's defense. Like, prove me wrong, dude. Everything that he did today worked out. I think that the team looked sharp on a collective aspect, sorry, as well as individualistically speaking. Um, and I'm not too sure if this is the genius of Triple G or it's also just a combination of he had a great game plan for tonight and Mexico just flopped.
Yeah, both coaches started with a 4-3-3 formation, and ultimately with Triple G's men that dominated the second half. Like we said, the first half was pretty parejo, pretty even. And at the end of the match, man, just some stats here. Shots pretty straightforward, pretty even. 11-9, 11 USA, 9 Mexico. Shots on target. Here's where it got a little, one sided. 6 for USA, 2 for Mexico. Possession 53% for USA, 47% for Mexico. At halftime, I believe it was like 69% to USA in favor. Passes pretty straightforward. 392 USA, 349 Mexico. Fouls 13 for USA, 14 Mexico. 4 yellow cards for Mexico, 1 for USA, and corners 7 for the United States, 4 for Mexico. So those are the kind of the stats for the match. Jimmy, where does he go from here, man? He has to regroup in time for summer, Copa America. We don't think this is going to be a cause for him to be removed from la selección. Barring just he has a disastrous Copa America, I think he's staying. In charge of Mexico for the short term at least, for the World Cup. But yeah, I mean, if you look at his players from today, I think the only player that actually showed grit and something on the field today was Irving Lozano and Edson Alvarez. Other than that, a lot of them really disappointed.
Yeah, I think as we mentioned, this isn't grounds to I guess cut Jimmy off from being the national coach. But I think he will show up to Copa America this summer with a lot of pressure. He at least has to get out of that group stage. If he doesn't get out of the group stage, it's just pretty much a dead sentence for him. If he makes it to the next round, that doesn't even guarantee he's gonna stay, but it softens the blow. But if I was him, this, as you said, this is time for him to take a step back and question himself if he needs to start, stop playing friend and start taking some risks on players that are out there that are within the pool that are eligible and that will die for a chance to play for Mexico. I think the likes of Gallardo, the likes of um, even Henry Martin, dude, Guillermo Ochoa, Jorge Sanchez, they're not cutting it. They're just not. The only reason I see Henry Martin coming back on a starting 11 is whenever Julian Quinones is healthy, because that's the only good impact he has. Today, he was. I understand that he fights and he has some, physicality to the game, but that isn't what Mexico needs. Everyone else, I don't know, dude. It's like, why do you bring Luis Romo? What is he adding to the group? He's not making the team better technically speaking. He's not, he doesn't, provide anything positive in terms of the actual match. So I think if I was Jimmy Lozano, I would, I would regroup, think very, closely and slowly about what I want to do, and screw it, man. I mean, you don't have any. He doesn't have any more room for mistakes, right? And so if everything is dire for him, if he's gonna get cut, if he doesn't succeed or reaches to a decent round in Copa America, then you have nothing else to lose.
Yeah, you just throw a Hail Mary to try
Yeah,
something else. Yeah.
exactly.
Before the match, many were criticizing him starting Henry Martin, especially like you mentioned, without Quinones in there. Why was he starting Henry Martin when he has a perfectly good Santi Jimenez on the bench? We also saw Jesus Gallardo just getting torn up by that end over there by mckennie and Dest, and eventually he took out Jesus Gallardo, and they looked better on that left flank Mexico. That is when he put in Gerardo Arteaga back there. So yeah, I mean, a lot of these players are maybe at the point where you got to look elsewhere. Ochoa, as you mentioned, Sanchez didn't
Bro,
look
it,
tier. What's up?
both of the freaking fullbacks were a joke. I mean,
Yeah,
if you played close attention to the match, the USMNT was linking passes left and right on both freaking ends of the pitch. I guess on both sides, and it was just obvious to see how more talented or how technically better or physically better are the USMNT players compared to the Mexico ones. I mean, they will just freaking slash him on runs. Like even the most basic aspects of like covering in triangles, not defending against the man and not against the ball. They were, the USMNT was just better at everything
yeah. I
in
mean,
general.
you saw many instances where said the Est a fullback took on two or three players and beat
Yeah,
them. Tim Weah was a menace. Pulisic, for the second goal, he went over. I think it was Gallardo or Sanchez. I can't remember who he had on the floor. And gioreyna, even though he's not playing for Nottingham, he's still very good on the ball, has
Yeah,
the reaction, that tenacity, and yeah, like you said, I mean, I think the difference showed, man, of who's playing in Europe and who's not. Simple as
yeah.
that. I mean, we've made plenty of videos, and at this point, about that topic, and at this point, it's just pretty obvious. There's been 7 games or 6 games since Mexico has beat United States, and the gap's just getting wider.
And to add to your point, I was doing an analysis on the benches, right? And so when I was looking at the subs that the USMNT was doing, is like you have freaking gioreyna coming out, and I get it, he's not necessarily playing a lot at Nottingham Forest, but the substitution is Yunus Musa, who is a regular at Milan. And then you look at Mexico, you pull out who Chiquito Sanchez, and Luis Romo goes in, and you see Luis Romo, he's like not even engaged, right? He's not even
Yeah,
in the match. You can see on his face and on his freaking demeanor, on his personality on the pitch, he's just not into it. and
yeah,
and so there's just a huge gap on how much Jimmy can do with the pool of players that he has. Like he needs to make a change. And let's be real, like this is just a point where if the USMNT has a player down, they have two or three that are up there, match ready, and with that are competing at the highest level that is available for them. You look around in Mexico, and there's nothing, man. It's always the same freaking 22, 23 players.
yeah. I mean, if you look at the subs that he called in, Jimmy Lozano called in Gerardo Arteaga, Luis Romo, Santiago Jimenez, and Orbelin Pineda versus the USA, who called in Yunus Musa, Brendan Aronson, Johnny Cardoso, Malik Tillman, and Florian Balogun. All 5 of the USA players are playing in Europe
Top
at,
five leagues, yeah.
yeah, top teams, while you have only Santi Jimenez playing in Europe from the Mexico side, right? So yeah, I mean, big contrast there. Well, I guess Orbelin Pineda, right? He plays
Yeah,
for
he plays in Greece.
Athens. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, but even Orbelin didn't look fantastic coming in.
no,
Uh, but yeah, man. I mean, moving on, kind of shifting gears to the United States. What did you most like about the U.S. during this match?
they look solid, dude. I mean, I think, granted, Mexico, it's I guess it's the best competition they have in CONCACAF, but the USMNT looks solid, dude. I know with that we're not a huge fans of Triple G, but he proved that his tactics are still at least relevant against CONCACAF teams, especially against Mexico. I like the fact that the team actually still continues to look, very cohesive. You can tell that every single player knows each other very well. I assume these freaking camps that they do every now and then are actually paying off. Uh, and again, I think that with minimal, even if you have minimal changes on this squad, you still have a very competitive team. That's what I like the most about it. Is that no matter who's on the pitch, right? You can play your best player for 45 minutes in the name of Tyler Adams, and you still have someone in the name of Johnny Cardoso who will jump in, and he will not slack. Like there wasn't any a lot of
Yeah.
difference between when Tyler Adams was on the pitch and when Johnny Cardoso joined. They're on the same level, dude.
No, for sure. Like we said, I mean, it's that difference that they have plenty of players in Europe at this point, and a lot of players before the match, or a lot of people before the match, were kind of saying that this. I said I'll take credit for it. I said in our match preview, I thought it was going to be Mexico's time to win it for the first time since 2019. Just because the way they played against Panama, the way the United States played against Jamaica, played horribly. We saw them play against Trinidad in the qualifiers for the Nations League semifinals really bad when they went down there to play in Trinidad. And they seem to play really bad against the small CONCACAF teams, but then step it up when they play against Mexico, right? And just off the top of my head, I thought Chris Richards had a way better game today than he did against Jamaica. Tim Ream replaced Miles Robinson, and even though at 36 years old, Ream is kind of the slowest and oldest person on the field, he played a solid game. Said, Dest, you can really see. Like I was agreeing with you before that I think Scally and Dest are pretty even. Today, I saw a huge difference in that Scally versus Dest conversation. I think Dest has really improved being back at PSV, and that's helped him. And he had a lot of great moments in this match. Nice to see Tyler Adams back, starting his first match for the USA since the World Cup, that Netherlands game. And it looks like Gioreyna and Triple G have officially put their differences aside. They, hugged it out at the end of the match, at the end when he was subbed out with Reina. And yeah, I mean, everybody I think had great moments in this match. Just looking at the lineup here, Weston McKennie, Pulisic, even Haji Wright. He had a real big battle in the first 45 minutes with Cesar Montes. They were going back and forth, two big guys. But yeah, I think yeah, obviously USA won at the end, and there's a pretty big difference at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to add, man. The USMNT was just better in everything against Mexico. Solid match, great performance. They deserve the win. It's just, you know, I don't really have anything else to say. It's legit win. The USMNT is better. You know, the myth of Mexico being the giant of CONCACAF, it's long gone, dude. It's over. Let's advocate and just take the second spot because it's not. I don't see in the near future how these will turn around.
Damn, man, I didn't want to depress you there on your cruise, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. It's all good, baby. It's all good.
No, but yeah, man, these have been a quick reactions here post match here on the 24th of March after the Nations League final. Later this week, we'll go in depth once Adrian returns from his cruise and kind of analyze Mexico. Where do they go from here? Kind of do our 6 things we learned for both the United States and Mexico. So make sure you stick it here with PPG as we're going to continue to do our analysis moving forward on these two teams and, coming into the Copa America, which is a big tournament, in the summer for both nations. Adrian, man, as we wrap up this episode, dude, where can our listeners find us?
Man, they can always find us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications. You can also find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast on. Last but not least, you can also find us on Instagram. We post stuff every now and then.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on your preferred social media platform of choice, and let us know below in the comments. What you think of the match. Were you rooting for Mexico? Were you rooting for the United States? Did you think USA was a deserved victor here? Where does Mexico go from here? Give us your comments for sure. Let us know. And are you team Triple G now? Let us know in the comments. We like interacting with you guys. Adrian, man, thanks for hopping on, man. Go back and enjoy your cruise. I'll see you in the next one.
Take it easy, my friend. Always a pleasure.
Likewise. See you, man.
Deuce.